I live in Cambridge in the UK, and I come here every 7 or 8 weeks. And I'm one of these people of Indian origin who has never lived in India. And now I've learned several languages here. And I'm kind of making progress. And so I can understand what people are saying. I can speak 2-3 languages here, but I can't read or write very well. Which leads to amusing incidences like the one I was in a taxi in Mumbai, and I told the chap where I wanted to go, the driver, and he took me there. And I said, "Are we there yet?" And he looked and he said, "Yes, can you not read the sign?" And I said, "No, I can't read." And I should have said I can't read Hindi, but I said I can't read. And he looked at me, this chap wearing a suit with a laptop bag, everything else. And it was an interesting moment. It's like a reversal of stories about people in the West traveling and people not understanding them and shouting ever louder until they thought they could be understood. So, flat structure, a lot of interaction. And what I wanted to do was kind of just wade in at the other end. Because last night I spoke to one of my colleagues, and I had a whole set of slides. And I thought, no, I'm not going to bother with any of those. So I'm wearing 4 hats here. Okay, the hat Frank's already told you about, which is I'm what they call Finance and Investment Theme Champion for the creative industries, which means really trying to connect public money, private money, getting people together so they actually build new things, invest in new things. So that's the hat. But I wear some other hats. So one of the other hats I wear is I'm entrepreneur in residence at the university in Cambridge, and we do a lot of stuff, grassroots stuff, from ground up, really trying to encourage technology ideas to be turned into money. Yeah. And then the other thing I do is I also, over the last 17 years, I've run a business which has been building technology companies and media companies. And it was great. This morning I met the managing director of Getty Images, India. And I was saying how Getty was the second company we helped in 1997 to build a global business. And so in building businesses actually means rolling up your sleeves, finding customers, doing deals, helping with understanding how you build a service, a product, a brand, how you build sustainability. And then out of that came AcceleratorIndia, which is the strapline you see, which is the idea was that we would try and encourage two-way interaction between Europe and India, always related to some kind of technology. Okay, so that's the kind of hinterland, if you like, where I'm coming from. And so the first thing I want to do is really now to talk about that slide. So when we started talking about the focus of this event, because people here have a number of interests, and you've seen them already. Frank's talking about the Internet of Things, and we're talking about creative agencies, content. And for me, one of the really interesting things is how the whole mobile value chain has changed. Even 5-6 years ago, people, the mobile phone companies were basically in one tiny part of that value system. They were in around that area where they provided a service. And so they used to basically allow people to make phone calls. And then if you look at what happened to them, so Nokia made phones, Nokia sold phones to selling companies, and if you look at Apple's success, which you talked about already, Apple really are an excellent example of people who have understood how to play in all the different parts of the value chain to maintain their business focus and figure out how to make money. And Nokia is a classic example, in my view, of how not to do it. They set up loads of businesses and ended up shutting them down because they tried to compete on music with iTunes. They shut that down, tried to be in mapping, bought Navtech. So this is a very complex value chain. And in a sense, everybody who's sitting in this room is playing some role in some part of it. And understanding where you play and what your central focus is, I think, critical. Okay, so I'm not going to, you'll be pleased to know, I'm not going to go to that slide. Now, the other thing I wanted to say here was we have probably about 30 Indian companies here and probably about 15 UK companies. Now, the challenge, of course, is if you're trying to build this dialogue and this bridge, then there's only so many UK companies, if you can find the time, the money, and the resources to be here on a particular day for an event. So there are some companies here, but what I wanted to say to you was there's a whole area behind that of companies, and I put up the companies who are actually all members of the creative industries networks, the large corporates, medium-sized companies, lots and lots of different companies. And so they will see all this content because it's going to go up online, and we run promotional events. And so companies that are here that actually want to have a dialogue with British companies, you're not just restricted to the 14 or 15 people in this room. You can reach out either via CIKTN or via me or to say, I want to talk to the following people. Okay?